It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish. If this is your very first tuning into us, a huge welcome. We have been doing this now for 16 years. We are listened to in over 34 countries around the world. And honestly, it's because of all of our amazing guests, our tribe, our hosts that have been on the network here. Honestly, it has been a journey and it has been a great one. And we're so excited that you've joined us today. Right now, we're working on our mini series called Victory Over Fear. This powerful series explores what it truly means to move forward despite uncertainty, self-doubt, and life's challenges. Through authentic conversations, personal stories, and practical wisdom, we uncover how courage is built one step at a time. Fear may be loud, but it doesn't have to have the final say. I am beyond excited to be introducing you to a new diva to our family. This is an amazing lady named Christine Blosdale, and I hope I said that right. And I'm
Yes, you did.
so excited to be having her on the show today. So welcome, Christine.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. And 16 years. Oh my gosh. You're like one of those rare unicorns. That I feel very honored to be with you today. I think that's fantastic. You guys have been around for so long. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, it has been so much fun. We've had the opportunity to interview amazing women like yourself on our podcast, and that's what it's all about is hearing stories and being inspired. And I've always been inspired by our guests, and I think that's why I've been able to keep going for as long as we have and paying it forward. So I'm so excited that you've joined us today.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to
Would
rock
you,
it.
yeah, would you mind introducing yourself to our listeners today?
Yes, yes. So my name is Christine Blosdale, and I am known as the Expert Authority Coach. And I help overwhelmed, especially women in business. I have a few male clients, but mostly women. I help overwhelmed women in business get seen, get trusted, which is most important, and get paid for what they already know. And I
Oh,
do
I
that
love
through
that.
a whole gauntlet of different things that we tap into with their passions, and get the word out about their genius, and let people know how they can be helped by my clients. So that's what I do, and I
Oh,
love it.
I love that. That is so powerful. Can you tell me how you decided to get into this?
Oh, I think it started when I was really young. I was one of those kids that I could look at something. I could look, I look at anything that we would be doing, and I could see what was working, what was doing well, and I could see those things where it wasn't working, right? Those, it didn't matter if I was at a restaurant with my parents, and across the way on the wall would be a painting, and it would be off just a little bit, just askew. I'd be that kid that would get up, walk over, and move it and adjust it, and I think that's something that I've just carried through all of my life. I also work intuitively, although I don't market myself as a psychic, uh, but I do work intuitively. So when I'm listening to a client and they're saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm trying to make it happen. I've been in business for so many years, or I'm just starting out, and I have this fear that I'm not going to be successful, or I'm not the right person. Who am I to do that? Those kind of things." I use my intuition, and amazing things happen when I'm speaking with somebody because I'm able to pick up on things maybe that they forgot about. Maybe when they were really young, they were really passionate about it and they kind of put it on the shelf. And I'll say, "Hey, have you ever thought about this?" And they'll go, "Oh my God, how did you know that? How did you know I always wanted to write a book? How did you know I always wanted to do this?" And I said, "It's just intuition is coming in, and I'm getting a green light on you going this way." So adjusting that painting, so to speak, right?
Yes, that
Yeah.
is wow. And I want to talk a little bit about major life transitions. And you and I had chatted quickly
Mm-hmm.
before the podcast about that. And, with this series, that's what we're talking about, stepping into new opportunities, simply learning to trust yourself. So, can you maybe highlight a little bit about that? Because your journey has been quite unique.
Yes, yes. So, as you can tell by my accent, I am American, and I was born and raised in Los Angeles. Lived there my whole life. Went in Southern California, and then one day, this lady found me on Instagram, stalked me for a while, and inboxed me, and that happened to be my wife. Now my wife, but at the time, she just was reaching out, and I was all excited, like, who is this person? Oh my goodness! And and then I found out she lived in Australia, and I was like, "Oh shit! Oh, that's 7,000 miles away. That's not going to work." But you know how it is when destiny calls. You listen, and we made it work out. I would go back and forth from LA to Australia. Spent a lot of time and a lot of money going back and forth, but it was like I found my human, and it's undeniable when you meet that person. And I didn't meet her until I was in my uh, mid 50s, I guess you'd say. So we just tried to figure it out as much as we could. And then this little thing called COVID happened. And when COVID happened, my wife said, I think you need to bump up your flight. I know you're not coming until April. You need to come early, I think. And I was like, "Are you crazy? You know how hard that is to rearrange everything, all the plans that I had. I had somebody watching my house. I had worked things out with my job that I had at the time. I was working still at the radio station while doing coaching." And she said, "No, I just think it's going to be bad." And so I went to go check my flight, and it was gone. Like, I went on the I went online, and I was like, "Where's my flight? Where'd it go?"
Oh
So
my
I called the
gosh.
airline, and the airline said, "Oh yeah, hello, Mrs. Blosdale." Um, she said, "All the flights are being canceled because Australia is closing the border." I said, "Excuse me, like what?" When things happen like that, because it's so unusual, you don't believe it. And so I said, "No, I have to get to my wife." And since we've been married, she had children from a previous marriage, but they were my kids now, right? I said, "I
Yes.
have to get to my wife and our kids." And she said, "Well, there's nothing happening. You can't fly in April." And I said, "Is there anything next week?" And she kind of chuckled, and she went, "No, you don't understand, ma'am. They're canceling. I'm looking at my screen, and things are going off the grid. They're just blacked
Oh my
out."
gosh.
And I was like panicking. I said, "Oh my god, well, is there anything?" And she said, "Yes, there is, but it's today in a couple hours, and it leaves it leaves LAX in a couple hours. Do you want it? Can you get there, and do you want it?" And I looked around, Candace. I looked around at my house, and I had everything. I had pictures on the wall. I have dirty dishes in the sink because I had, it's just a normal morning. And I said yes. It wasn't one of those confident yeses. It was like a yes. I guess so. If this is my lot in life, okay.
That's extraordinary.
So because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I would ever be able to come back home. Um, and I didn't. I never returned to that home actually. But I got on that flight, and I landed around 9 o'clock at night, 9:30, I think, and they closed the border at midnight. And so even
Wow.
though even though there was fear, right, about what's going to happen, I made sure that I packed my suitcase with my microphone, my computer, my headphones, some jeans, some t-shirts, some underwear, and called a dear friend I said, "Can you take me to LAX?" And she said, "Sure." And so I got here. I got here right just underneath that deadline. And I'm so grateful because I got to be with my wife and our kids. And Australia has opened their arms to me. And I'm still able to do all my coaching through the wonderful technology that we have,
Yes.
being online.
That is
So I'm very grateful.
extraordinary. When you
Yeah.
had briefly told me that and now you're explaining, I was like, I can't even imagine. Like, that's just mind-boggling.
There was a lot of fear behind it because I just did. It was the unknown. And when you're jumping off of a cliff and you don't know where you're going to land, it can be very overwhelming. So
Yes.
my entire nervous system was just freaking out. But I knew that I needed to be with her, and so that was the most important thing. And everything else, I said, you know what? I'll figure out. I'll figure it out. And that's listening to those voices, to that pull. That's really important, and that's probably something that your listeners too maybe have felt at some point in their life. That pull, that pull towards there's something else that I need to do, or if you're working in a job and you're not happy, maybe the pull is to start your own business, right? To do something different. I want to encourage you to listen to that pull, okay? Because all kinds of new things can happen from that.
Oh my gosh. The strength found in vulnerability, the growth that comes from taking those risks. And oh my goodness, what an amazing story that is in itself. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Mm. I think I'm going to do a TED talk on it because I have this
Yep.
boarding pass still.
I think
I
you
think
should. I think that would be a TED Talk of the ages. Like, that is just extraordinary. And I can see from that how you are, because you do podcasting like I do, how that would be a story in itself on your podcast and getting your listeners really engaged. So, can you do a little shout out to where our listeners can go and check out your podcast?
Oh yeah. So and they can find out about I have more than one podcast. um, I I have the Expert Authority Coach podcast. It used to be called Out of the Box with Christine, but that was 10 years. And then after 10 years, I listened to my own advice and started using my branding in my title of my podcast. It's so funny because some of us coaches, especially business coaches, we're really great at giving advice to our clients and to see them transform and be successful. But a lot of times we don't listen to our own advice. And so I finally listened and I said, you know what? We're going to change it from Out of the Box with Christine and we're going to turn it into the Expert Authority Coach podcast. And it's really,
Oh, I love it.
it's not just for coaches, but it's, my take and some of my strategies, the little secret tips that I've developed and worked on over the years. But I also bring guests on who I think have great value. One of the most recent ones is a wonderful doctor who specializes in ADHD in professionals, in high achievers, and I loved having her on. So I bring different people onto the show, and the Expert Authority Coach podcast. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, YouTube as well. But you can also find out about all my work, different podcasts, the books that I've written, and all that at the website expertauthoritycoach.com.
Yay, I love that. And now I definitely want to talk about your book that you released, The
Mm.
Expert Authority Code. So let's talk about that because I can't wait to hear what this is all about. And maybe you can kind of explain that to our listeners, why you decided to write that and
Yeah.
where they can get a copy of it.
Yes. So I've this is my seventh book. It's my seventh book, and all the previous books were about, and they were small books, right? Itty bitty book. I like little itty bitty books. I encourage all of my clients, and I encourage your audience, write a book, and it doesn't have to be a huge novel. It could be an itty bitty book. It could be just a few pages. It doesn't have to be super long. Excuse me. But those were about podcasting, why you want to create a podcast, why you want to be a guest on podcasts, all those different things. And the Expert Authority Code is just a combination of all of my years of being a business coach and working in media, working in broadcasting, as a producer, as a host of a radio show in a major market. But all of the things that I have learned that are important and an easy and fun way for people to be seen, to get trusted, and to get paid for what they already know. And the code itself, I mean, You can, again, you can get this, the Kindle version and the paperback version on Amazon and things like that. I'm working on the audiobook. It's just going to take a little while because it's a bigger book than I normally write. But the code is really relatively simple, and there are four things that you want to keep in mind when you are looking to expand your expert authority, to get noticed, right? To get new clients. The first part of the code is C, and that's for clarity. And this is something that I see across the board with so many entrepreneurs and coaches and people that are starting off in business or have been doing it for a long time. And that's that they're not clear. So we want to focus on clarity. You want to be as clear as possible as who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and how you help them. The messaging needs to be super duper clear. And I'll go to someone's website or I'll ask them, so what is it that you do? And they'll tell me all these things, or they'll show me all these things on their website, and I'm still not clear at exactly what they do. And if I'm not clear and I'm looking and I'm trying to figure it out, imagine potential clients or the general audience, they're not going to know what you're really an expert at. So we want to be super clear. I am really, really good at blank. Okay? The O in code is ownership. And that is saying, I am damn good at what I do. I am really, really good at what I do. And there's no ego attached to that, Candace. There's no arrogance. There's nothing like that. It's just saying, I am really good at what I do. And that ownership, that confidence is a magnet for potential clients or customers, people who are going to see our expert authority. But we have to own it, okay? And then the D in code is delivery. And delivery is those working on those things, creating content, creating things, because we're little creation machines. Yeah, I really truly believe that, when they say we were made in the image of God, I believe that God is the ultimate creator. Well, we're little mini creators. We're like little mini me's, right, of creation. And so delivery can be writing those books, creating those podcasts, being a guest on podcasts, which is so powerful, creating videos, all those different, writing blogs, being on LinkedIn, being on TikTok, all those different things. We need to deliver our content, our creations into the world so people can see us and get to know us and trust us. Then they're going to pay us, right? So then the last thing is E, and that's elevation. And elevation is working on doing those things that are going to elevate your expert authority. So every single day, if you're able to do a little something that makes your expert authority just a little bit higher, a little bit better, a little bit more out there in the world. And there's so many things that we can do. And I work with my clients on a daily basis. I have some people that I've worked with for many years, and every single day we're working on just doing a little bit more, a little something different, adding to those jewels that are in our crowns. We're just adding to those jewels. And when you put it all together, then your chances at success are pretty good. Let's put it that way.
No, I can definitely see that. And I really love how you put that together, because confidence is something, I'm not too sure if it's more of something that women go through, but that feeling, that ownership that you were mentioning, I know so many that have a hard time feeling that ownership for what they're so good at. They just feel guilty in a lot of ways. They don't want to, because they don't want to look like they're arrogant. And when I
I
listen to you,
know.
I'm like, oh, they need you so badly, because it's not arrogance. There's nothing wrong with them being able to, like you said, that ownership of sharing that with the world.
You know what? I think it's a absolute shame. And this is part of the reason why I love being a coach, and because when it boils down to it, I'm a teacher. And, and I think when I was really little, we didn't have coaches back in the day. Coaches were like softball coaches and football coaches. We didn't have coaches like we do today. But I was a teacher, and I always wanted to be a teacher. And I'll tell you, when I, from my viewpoint, from my place and looking, women have been held back for centuries, forever. Women have been held back. It doesn't matter what's important to you, honey. It doesn't matter what you really love. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you look pretty, you take care of your spouse, your husband, your children. You're there to uplift the community, all the while looking like a Kardashian, right?
Yes.
So what this is in our DNA, right? What's important to you, what you care about, what you love, it's not important. So when we're told, go out and make a living, go out and follow your passions, become an entrepreneur, become a coach. Well, there's this story inside of us that says it's not important what you want, or you're stupid, you're never going to make it, your place is not. Who do you think you are? So you think about that, centuries and centuries. It's in our DNA from our mothers, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, our great 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 grandmothers. Whereas young men are told, go out and you can do anything and we'll give you resources for it, right? So we're battling that inside. And this is my passion, my goal is to uplift women to really embrace their passion and to put it out there in the world, because that's how we change the world, right?
Yes, it
We
is.
have to do that. We really have to do that.
Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that. I started this podcast over 16 years ago because I'm a mother of four daughters. So they're my divas. They're the divas, and that's why I wanted the divas that care. And I wanted them to be able to listen to extraordinary people like yourself.
No, and it's all about energy, right,
Yes.
Candace? So the energy that you put out is so powerful. Probably when I'm talking to clients and we're working on their brand, on their personal brand, which I love doing. One of the most important, because they're like, well, so should I be posting on Pinterest, or should I be posting on LinkedIn? Should I be doing this on Facebook? And I'm like, no, let's dial it back, honey. Let's come back to the important thing. It's your energy and your bat signal that you're putting out. So let's focus on what you're putting out in the world. Are you coming from a place of desperation or lack? Or are you coming from a place of abundance and confidence and joy? And that energy that we put out has a ripple effect. Not only are you going to attract the people that you're meant to, your tribe, the people that are like, wow, I think she's amazing, or that's so interesting, I need to learn more. But that you're sending out that signal, that energy out into the world, and it is a very powerful thing. We may not see the end result of that, but it is very powerful, and you're able to change people's lives just by the energy that you put out. You don't need to
Yes.
know. You don't need to know the end result. Just
No, you
know that it's
don't.
good. It's good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This has been such a great time. I really enjoyed chatting with you today. I'm hoping that you'll come back on some of our future mini series, because there is
I'd
so
love
many
to.
things that I think you and I could really dive into, and you could really help our listeners.
I would absolutely love to be a part of anything that you're doing,
Oh,
Candace. So
yes.
please invite me, and I want to invite you. I'd love to invite you and also your listeners, that if they felt a connection, if they were listening to what we were talking about and they got the goosebumps, so to speak, and they feel that pull to learn more, to maybe, I don't know, maybe dive into their own business and their
Hmm.
brand, to reach out to me. I offer a complimentary strategy call. It's really just us sitting down, having a cup of coffee, or a glass of wine, whatever you prefer. It's sitting down and just, you tell me what it is that you're doing, but more importantly, you tell me what you want to do in life, and I'll do everything humanly possible to get you there, and to have a fun time doing it. But that's something that you can set up. You go to my website. There's buttons all over the place that says to set up that free call, or you can go directly into my calendar and my calendar. So if you wanted to book something today and I could talk to you tomorrow, you're just going to go to chatwithchristineb.com. That's my booking calendar for that specific time where we can just sit down and talk. And you could tell me all about what you're doing, but most importantly, what you want to do. And I'll do everything I can to get you there.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm going to be, for all of our listeners, I will be posting Christine's social media links so that you can just click on it and go and check her out. Oh, I love it. One of the things I always ask my amazing guests is if they have any tips, tools, maybe something that they can leave our listeners with today.
I will give you a great tip. So for those that suffer from imposter syndrome, first of all, congratulations. You're part of an elite crew of overachievers. So do not beat yourself up. It's actually something that a lot of people who really strive to do the best in life, it's something that we all suffer from time to time, okay? Some people live in imposter land a little longer than others. But when you do have a bout of that, I highly recommend that you do this exercise. And it's something that I do with many of my clients who are suffering from it. You take a deep breath and you tell yourself, it's not about you. It's not about you, Christine. If you're afraid of showing up because you're afraid of what people might think, what if you mess up? What if you what are people going to say about you? It's not about you. It's about the people that you claim that you want to help. So if you're a fitness coach and you're suffering from imposter syndrome and you're thinking, I don't know if I can show up because what are people going to say? They're gonna judge me based on how I look or my haircut or whatever. It's not about you, honey. It's not about you. It's about the people that you want to help, the people you claim you want to serve. And if you don't show up, they don't get that help. They don't get to grow. They don't get to be fit and healthy. They don't get to do those things because you didn't show up. So when we do that, we flip the script and we focus on the people we care about and not us, it can change. It can change that imposter syndrome, that feeling of dread. Sometimes we have to do a little bit more exercises with my clients, but it does help to think about.
I love that. That is a fantastic advice because, we don't think of it like that.
No, it's always about us.
Yep. I love it. Yeah. See, that's why I said to all of our listeners, we're going to have her back on because there's just so much we're going to dive into.
Please do. I'd love to. I'd love to come back and do anything. You just tell me, Candace. I'll be there.
I will. Oh, I'm definitely going to be reaching out. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Yes, I know it's very early for you, so I appreciate you getting up and, talking with us today.
My pleasure. Absolute. Thank you.
You're welcome. And to all of our amazing listeners, thank you so much for checking out this podcast. We've had a great time. Make sure you take this, you share it with your friends and family. I think that they're going to love this. Also, remember today to do something kind. So until next time, everyone, have a fantastic day.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.